Hello you lot, this is KeefCooks, I'm Keef, and today I'm going to make us a special treat. I'm going to show you how to make French style country pâté, pâté de Campagne. Actually, I don't know why I'm calling it a treat. It's not, you know, it's fairly inexpensive and fairly easy to get hold of. It's just great to have some in the fridge and slap it on a bit of toast when you want a snack. I had a request to do pâté about, last April from James Stenhouse. And I'm sorry it's taken so long to get around to it, but here we are, making pâté. Yes! Ingredients for the pâté. I've got about 1 kilo of fatty pork, half a kilo of pork liver, and 250 grams of streaky bacon. I've also got an onion, a clove of garlic, an egg, 2 tablespoons of double cream, heavy cream, and 5 tablespoons of brandy, and a load of herbs and spices. So I've got a teaspoon each of juniper berries, sea salt, and ground black pepper, and thyme, and then half teaspoon each of ground ginger, ground cloves, and ground nutmeg. Now you might be sitting there thinking, he said it was going to be coarse, but flipping heck, that is over the top really. You're going to have to mince it. If you haven't got a mincer, you can chop it finely or get a butcher to do it. But ideally what you want is to have this minced on the coarse plate, the big plate, not the medium or fine one, so that you get some chunkiness going on. You'll have to negotiate with your butcher for that if you've got one. I've already got the working bits of the mincer in the freezer because all of this works better when it's really, really cold. I'm also going to pop the pork in for 15 minutes. Yeah, about the pork, shoulder is best because it has fat marbled through it, but failing that, I've got actual pork loin chops, boneless, with quite a bit of fat on. You want a good amount of fat, 10, 15, 20% of the whole thing. So if you're scared of fat, this is probably not the recipe for you. So I'll just put the cold bits onto the mincer. I should have put that in, that is the coarse plate with its massive holes. Should have put that in the freezer, but I forgot. Ooh, ooh. That's cold. In with the scroll. I think it's called scroll. You have to wiggle this till it engages with a slot in the motor shaft. Like that. Okay, and then the screwy bit. I did not enjoy that. Right, and we need to chop this into bits that are small enough to go through the machine. All right, we'll just whack these through. So I'm just going to take the meat from a couple of these chops and just cut it up into little chunks that we won't put through the mincer so that we get a variation of, texture of the meat. I'll just put the liver through, which is a little bit gruesome, but we have to do it. Now we'll put the chopped pork in there and the liver, and then we'll clean all this mess up. Don't put the grinding plate in with the pâté, it will not be good. All right, there's all the meaty stuff dealt with, apart from bacon, and now I just need to finely chop this onion. Magic knife's not working today, so needs new batteries, I think. And we need to peel and crush the clove of garlic. And chop it fine. So this can go in there along with everything else except the bacon. So we want 2 tablespoons of cream. Actually, I'm just changing my mind, 4 because that looked pretty mean. 1 egg, and we'll give these a mixy. And we'll chuck all the herbs and spices in as well. Now we're ready to put it all together. I'm going to make a monster one in this big loaf tin. This is a 2-pound loaf tin, and I need to line it with bacon. So I've got English streaky bacon, which is, you know, nice amount of fat. And what I need to do is just stretch it with the back of a knife, just to make it thinner and even it out and eke it out, because, well, it's a big tin. I don't know if I'll actually have enough bacon to line it properly. Only one way to find out. So get one rasher and lay it down in the bottom of the tin and up the sides. Take that next one and do it crossways. How to explain? Like, almost like you're weaving it. Well, I've used all the bacon, so it's not fully covered, but it'll do the job. And there's some bits left overhanging, which will fold over the filling. So I'll just pop the filling in. I've got an idea this will fill that loaf tin and more. But that's okay, because we do like pate. So just press this into the corners, get a nice even top. And then fold over whatever bits of bacon you've got. And we're going to cook this in a bain-marie in the oven. So you want your oven preheated to 160 Celsius for a fan oven, convection oven. That's 180 for a conventional one, and that's gas 4. Oh, look at this. Well, that's not too bad. There's just a bit around here that's not covered. It doesn't actually matter because that will end up being the bottom of the terrine. All right, I need to wrap that completely in aluminium foil. We're having a slight problem because I need a vessel that I can fill with boiling water that will come up to 2/3 of the height of this tin. So I can just about jam it into there, but it only comes halfway up, which means it's not going to cook properly at the top. If I'd used a smaller loaf tin, I could have got away with that, but I didn't. So plan B, instead of trying to cram the big one into the oven, I'm going to cook it in a water bath. So to do that, I've got this big plastic container and I've got a sous vide immersion circulator. So this technically isn't sous vide because it's not in a vacuum. The circulator just heats the water, keeps it moving, and most important, keeps it at a constant temperature. So I've got that set for 75 degrees Celsius. Right, I ended up making 2 patés. I did a small one in a little ceramic sort of pie dish without bacon because I'd used it all. I cooked that in the oven for about 75 minutes. So here it is, it's been cooked. Now you need to kind of press your patés so that they're a little bit firm. And for the little one, I've got a second dish that's identical, so I can just pop that in the top and that fits nicely, and that's the right amount of pressure, really. For the big one, I've got a smaller loaf tin and a couple of cans. And be careful not to over compress it because your juices will escape and you don't want them to. You want to keep those juices if you can. Otherwise you'll have a dry pate. So those go in the fridge overnight and then we can eat them. Yay. Oh, and the big pate took 3 hours in the water bath to finally reach the cooked temperature. Okay, it's the next day, so let's open up the pate. Oops. All right, a little goo has escaped. Looks a bit weird. And I'll bet you any amount of money this will not come out without a fight. Okay, told you. So I'm going to sit this in some hot water for a bit to try and unchill it. Okay, I slightly overdid it. There's actually quite a lot of jelly in the bottom of this, or there was, but I've melted it with excessive use of heat. So that's not exactly a good outcome anyway. It's been back in the fridge and I'll just see what we've got now. Oh, it's set again. Come on. Yes, ow. There we go. I'm just going to scrape this jelly off. I love it, but it looks not entirely right. Certainly quite firm. Looks good to me. Pretty chunky. I meant to check something, but I forgot. What's the difference between a pate and a terrine?
According to NZ Herald, a pate differs from a terrine in that pate is usually
It's gone off because I sniggered at it, a pate. I'll tell you later. And now it's the best part of your week, taste test time, with possibly my week. Mrs. KeefCooks, in fact. Right, Pate de Campagne.
Ooh.
Campagne.
So, what's the difference between a pate and a terrarium?
I don't know. Terrine. Hardly anything. It's to do with, well, a terrine is actually the name the French give to the sort of loaf tin that you make it in. So a pate can be a terrine, but not all terrines are patés, because terrines can be chunkier and, you know, compressed. Meat, fish, yeah.
So is this a terrine?
It might be verging on terrine territory.
The terroir.
Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, right, enough of the French.
So can I have some now?
Of course you can. Get stuck in. Yeah. It is a bit loose, texture-wise, but...
Oh yeah, I'm getting the liver aspect of it, but it's not a liver pate. It's the meat and the liver, and I like the bits of onion. It's coarse and it's crumbly, but it's also very moist and full of flavour. Oh yeah, and I'm getting a
it comes
bit
through.
Of pepper at the back of the throat now. Oh, this is a pleasure. It's not one note. It's a little symphony.
It's a little chord. Aye.
But before I take another bite, shall we wave and say bye-bye? Lunch break, yes!
Thanks for watching, and see you next time. See you next week time.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trot.